Hey guys, Constance here from Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So today is Thanksgiving prep day. This is my big cooking day. This is the day I get a ton of stuff done. It's more of a cooking day than Thanksgiving is. Thanksgiving is all about the turkey, but today is about everything else. I have got rolls and bread rising in the oven. I've got cranberry sauce here going on the stove, and I have a whole list of things that I will be getting done today. I've got a chocolate pie to make, I've got a pumpkin pie to make, and then, glancing over at my list, the casseroles. I actually will bake all of my casseroles today because there's several casseroles and they all cook at different temperatures. And so by pre-baking all of my casseroles, all I need to do tomorrow is warm them all up once the turkey's done baking. And we all know that a casserole is even better the second day anyways. So just by doing it that way, it saves me a lot of time and all of that tomorrow on Thanksgiving. So just a little tip. Speaking of tips, just a little bit ago on my Instagram stories, I shared a tip about all of the hand washing. When you are doing some marathon cooking like this, there's a lot of hand washing that goes on, and that means your skin can really get dried out. And so my trick for that is have a little bit of coconut oil or olive oil handy. When you wash your hands, rub a little bit of that oil on your skin. Keeps your hands from drying out, but it's still completely food safe. You don't want to be putting lotion on every time you wash your hands to keep your skin from drying out. And so the olive oil or coconut oil is my trick, and that's what I do. And I share that tip every year, but yes. And one other tip, I have cooling racks that are for like breads, cookies, things like that. It's a baker's cooling rack. And they're actually stackable. So they have little legs that fold out and you can stack them on top of each other. Those make for an excellent space saver in your refrigerator when you've got things that can't be stacked on, like pies. I can stack those racks and create additional space in my refrigerator that didn't exist prior. So I can put a couple of pies in the same spot by using those cooling racks to stack them. So that's another trick that I like to share frequently. So I'm gonna get back to it. Came in here, had a t-shirt on earlier, and it took no time before I was just burning up. Had to lose the t-shirt, threw on a tank top, pinned back the hair, lighter apron, the whole 9 yards. So it is right around noon. I have got rolls made. I have the cranberry sauce made. I did the pie crust. I baked one. It was a, well, let me just say this. I don't want there to be any illusions whatsoever that I never have any sort of flops in the kitchen or anything like that. A while back I did a video where I shared all about making pie crusts, and I tried to take away some of the intimidation of making a homemade pie crust. And one of the statements that I made was, when you're making a pie crust, it does not have to be beautiful. There's all sorts of people who can just make these amazingly gorgeous pie crust with the perfect shape and all that stuff. I'm not one of those people. As far as I'm concerned, as long as it tastes good, that's all that matters. You're your crust doesn't have to be perfect. And just to show you that my crusts are often not perfect, and sometimes they're really not perfect, let me just show you this. So I am making 2 pies for Thanksgiving. I'm making the classic pumpkin pie, and I'm also making the chocolate pie that I make every year. Well, the chocolate pie, the crust needs to be baked, so it's a baked pie shell. My pie crust slid down and just became a giant blob on about half of the pie crust there. Now ultimately it doesn't really matter. I'm not blogging. Well, I intended to update my pie photos for that recipe on the website, but it'll just have to wait until next time. So real life, folks. And like I said, don't let there be any illusions that everything works out perfectly in the kitchen. It doesn't. Doesn't matter how long you've been cooking. Sometimes your pie crust is gonna flop. So I have my chocolate pie going right here. Got my pie crust over there that I baked earlier. And this pie recipe is just a classic chocolate pie. And I think I copied the original recipe from Mr. Smith's grandmother's cookbook. And it's basically exactly the same. The only difference is I changed, I think originally it called for flour. I changed that to cornstarch because I felt like it thickened it up a little bit better and it took less starch to be added. And then I added some instant espresso powder. And instant espresso, when you add that to something that is chocolate, it doesn't make it taste like espresso as long as you're not using a ton of it. But adding just a little bit of it to something that is chocolate enhances the chocolate flavor and makes it taste even more chocolatey. So I added that to the original recipe. But otherwise, it's pretty much exactly the same. A very classic recipe. Alright guys, so I just got done tidying up my kitchen. Little bit of a break at this point. My chocolate pie and pumpkin pie are finished. I've got my bread sliced up and sitting here letting it kind of air dry a little bit for the stuffing, which I'll just make that in the morning first thing before the turkey goes in. I don't stuff my turkey anymore, and because I don't stuff it, it cooks a lot faster than a stuffed turkey, and so I don't have to start it at like 6 o'clock in the morning to enjoy the turkey, so I'll have time to do that. So that is going right now. The corn casserole is in the oven baking, and that's got a good while. It takes about an hour for that, and so right now I think I'm gonna go outside and visit with the goats. It's a little bit gusty outside, so I'm gonna throw on a hat and a jacket and take a little bit of a break. Drop them all over the ground. That's my tripod there, ready. Don't eat it. Alright, so the corn casserole just came out of the oven, and Mr. Smith said, you know, if the Russians come in during the night and steal some of that, don't blame me. Yes, corn casserole is something I grew up eating, and I kid you not, the family would fight, this family would fight over the leftovers, and so I end up making 2 of these every holiday that I make corn casserole. So yes, it is very much a favorite, and it's hard to describe, but it's fantastic. And so now I've got my sweet potatoes in the oven baking. I will go ahead and bake my sweet potato casserole tonight, and then that will be it. I will be done for today. So I am beginning to lose light. It's getting a little bit dark, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video because I need to get dinner going. Dinner tonight is going to be Mongolian beef. It is by request from my son since it is his birthday. So that is it. Thanks for hanging out here in the Homestead kitchen. My name is Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I'll talk to y'all next time.